Hannah More was concerned with a number of social ills and was a bridge builder in that way. And I see you as a bridge builder. So how has Hannah's worldview shaped your own?
Well, of course, I discovered Hannah More when doing my doctoral research 15 years ago. I had never heard of her. It's been a little more than 15 years now. My professors had never heard of her. And when I stumbled across her, I just knew I had found a kindred spirit. But when it comes to her faith experience and how she implemented the worldview shaped by her Christian faith, that's where I find a real role model. Moore was always, for her entire lifetime, a committed member of the Church of England, which was very dead in those days. But rather than leaving the church when she underwent her evangelical conversion, she stayed in the church and she brought that conviction to the church. She really strove to stay in what was called then the middle way in the 18th century. In other words, she tried to avoid the extremes of either, liberal or conservative faith or liberal or conservative politics. She was definitely more conservative, but she reached out to those who held very different religious and political commitments to her. She built bridges between the rich and the poor, between Anglicans and non-Anglicans, between Protestants and Catholics. So she just found herself in the middle, so to speak, in a lot of ways, trying to bring people together. She maintained her convictions, yet at the same time did not hesitate to reach out to others. She didn't feel that she was losing any strength of her conviction by partnering with others for common cause. And she took a lot of criticism for that, as did those who worked with her. But she persevered, and because of that, I think that's really was the key to what helped her to literally change her world. I looked, again, like Hannah More looked, to biblical principles. The Bible doesn't talk about animal rights. It doesn't really talk about rights at all. It talks about duties and moral obligations, and it talks about good stewardship of all of creation. Proverbs talks about the righteous man caring for his beast. Jesus talks about knowing if even one sparrow falls. And so to me it is clear that Scripture teaches that the welfare of animals is a great concern to God and is part of our mandate to take good stewardship over the earth. There may be gray areas, there may be things that are difficult to navigate. I do believe that eating meat is something that reflects the fallen world, is something that happened after the fall. So I think Scripture, allows for eating meat, but I don't think that Scripture allows for us to treat animals inhumanely when they are used for us by food or for other service. And so for me personally, I've been convicted through my work with the Humane Society of the United States to really care about the animals that sustain me. And to understand the sacrifice that they make for my life. And if I do eat meat, I do what I can to make sure that it is meat that comes from animals who were cared for. That's just one example of an issue that does have some gray area, but also has very clear biblical principles, I think, that can help us to make good decisions. Animal welfare doesn't have to be my first and foremost driving issue, but it's something that I want to incorporate into the way I live my life every day and integrate into my views on a whole range of issues. Certainly at this time, animal welfare is a great need in our culture, along with many other things, and that I need to be defined not by issues, but by the integrity of my faith and life. And I see that in Hannah More, and she is definitely a role model to emulate.